Hey Dinks, welcome back for another fun interview. Actually, this is a little bit special for me because I'm connecting now with someone who taught me as a freshman dental student many moons ago now. Dr. Mark Hyman is joining us here live on the Chicago Midwinter floor. Thank you so much for being here,
Dr.
being
J,
a part of us.
what a joy to be here. I'm so proud of you.
Full circle for me, frankly.
Yeah. You just make me so proud to see what you've accomplished in such a short period of time, and what an extraordinary role model you can be for young practitioners. So way to go.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We were reminiscing before you came in the booth today about one of my mentors, Dr. Keith Phillips, who's a dear friend of yours, and you were talking a little bit about your practice journey. When you lectured to me back when I was a freshman, you were definitely running a very successful practice, and I looked to your practice style and said, this is exactly the kind of dentist I want to be when I get out into the real workforce. Talk to me about, from that moment forward, what has practice looked like for you? What's the evolution of your career been?
Sure. Jen, I bought basically a bankrupt 10-year-old practice in 1986 and made it worse. And then the switch flipped, and I got very fortunate. We ended up with a practice that was top 1% in the United States with respect to production, collection, overhead control, team retention, and fun. And I did it by virtually making every mistake in the book. And I had tremendous heroes, Dr. Ron Strauss at the dental school at Chapel Hill, Dr. Keith Phillips, who practiced in Winston-Salem and was my dear friend and role model. Keith and I both went through the Pankey Institute in Key Biscayne, Florida. We both taught at Pankey. We both took Dale Carnegie training. I mean, why would you want to study material titled How to Win Friends and Influence People?
Right.
So that was huge. I sent my entire team through Dale Carnegie training.
That's a huge commitment.
And I've had people say to me, Dr. Mark, I don't get it. Trying to tell me you spent $2,000 on every teammate? What happens if they leave? And I said, what happens if you don't send them through Dale Carnegie training and they stay? So Keith really helped me in that vein, and now we teach together at the UNC Adams School of Dentistry in Chapel Hill, and it's just a gift. So for me in my practice, we basically went from bankrupt to boom. I went from 2.5 employees to 11. Our level of case acceptance was close to 99% because we didn't ask yes or no questions. I'd say, Jen, tell me more. How does that make you feel? What do you mean? In your own words, why'd you come in today? What do you expect out of me? What are your goals for your health, teeth, and smile? So we'd go through a series of 10 questions that we sat down for new patient experience and asked everybody. So I started in 1986, composite. If you got acid etch on the dentin, you had to go to endo, right?
Yep.
We used amalgam with a gallon of Copolite and 2 pounds of Dical. Braces were train tracks, implants were malpractice. People talk about some mythical golden age of dentistry. It's the diamond age right now.
Right.
Back when I started, there were really no implants, no cone beam, no digital printing, no CAD CAM, no intraoral cameras, no isolite, no buffering of the local, all the things that really transformed my practice. So I was really fortunate that I caught the continuing education bug. I tried to do 100 hours of continuing education every year. And I got to start teaching at the dental school. So I've taught every first-year dental student since 1989 their intro to private practice class. So I look at you, I thought you were like 29 years old now, right?
Yeah,
That's what you look at.
Give or take.
28, sorry.
Yeah.
I look at my students and I'm so proud when I see them thriving. And if I've touched them in some fashion and made them think a little differently, it just honors me.
Tell me about going from private practice, now you're in academia. Would love a little insight into how is it different now? I mean, I've been out 15 years.
Wow.
How do you think the education has evolved over time? What technology are they getting into their hands now versus when I came in, there was an alleged Xerox somewhere on the 3rd floor. No one ever really found it. What does the education look like, and the students and energy and all that stuff happening?
The dental school at UNC is on fire.
That's awesome.
We've got almost 2,000 initial applicants for next year's class. I'm on the admissions committee.
Yeah.
The quality of the students are just staggering.
We wouldn't get in.
They wouldn't let me be janitor, and I'm not trying to offend a janitor, but oh my God, we have same-day crown clinic, so everybody does a CAD CAM restoration. Almost everybody works with an implant, if not placing it themselves, if they have the initiative. We have technology. The Xyrus Corporation donated over $500,000 of equipment and materials in my honor. So every student has an ISOVAC to work with their patient care. We have an intraoral camera in every operatory.
That's awesome.
So tried to get DigiDoc put in there.
Yeah.
At the last minute, they went cheapy on me, but
Dang it.
it took me 4 deans to get the cameras in there. So part of what I teach my students is you don't do anything without a before, during, and after photo. Because there's a magical expression, Dr. J, evidence defeats doubt. You put the picture in front of a patient, I teach our students to just shut up, just look at the tooth and go, wow. Because in a business negotiation, the first one to speak
Always loses.
loses.
Exactly.
So you put the picture up and the patient goes, what's that line? The classic dental student is taught to answer with an answer. I ask you a question, you give me an answer, you get the A. And I'm trying to teach the Carolina students to answer a question with another question. What do you think it is? Is that cancer? No. Is that a crack? How can I help you? What do I need? What do you want? So it's just a different way to look at dentistry, but you have the intraoral camera, you have CAD/CAM dentistry, you have the ISOVAX. We do have a lot of technology on the floor. We got an opportunity for the students to use lasers. We're teaching the students digital photography. We had a $5 million donation to the dental school on leadership. So every UNC students get leadership training every semester. And we have practice readiness committee, which Dr. Phillips and I teach on, teaching real world Monday morning private practice stuff. So our students get business training and leadership training every semester. So it makes me proud. This past year, Jen, with 82 students in a typical dental class, not counting the advanced standing students, 50 of our students applied for residency graduate programs. 46 got accepted.
That's amazing.
It's stupid crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So that just makes me proud.
Yeah.
So the students are bright, they're talented, they're curious, they're used to a different way of learning. Your generation, we lectured to you.
Yeah.
There was no Zoom. There was no, we'll pre-record this and you get to watch it at your own leisure.
Right.
When you were in clinic, we didn't have that flat screen monitors by the lab bench.
Nope.
So you could watch the faculty do a procedure
No.
in HD right in front of you and mimic it. So the education is superior. What you guys have to learn now, I mean, there's 6 years of material that we try to teach in 4 years. So it's pretty crushing.
Yeah.
But these guys, they're bright and talented. And for me, this season in my life, I had 32 years of private practice where I basically did 90 years of dentistry. And then physically, my body broke down. So that's another thing we try to stress is the ergonomics. I'll walk around in the D1 clinic and I'll see the students corkscrewed, and I'll just give them a little loving love tap dink on the ear and say, dude, I love you, sit up, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna die. You
Yeah.
can do it at 22. By the time you hit 40, you're gonna be a cripple. So what I try to say to our prospective students is we're not interested in you for 4 years here. We're interested in you for 40.
That's right.
We want to be in your life. We want you to be a proud alumni. So the faculty that we have are sensational. The equipment, the materials, the facilities at UNC is dynamite, and we hope we're launching really talented but caring clinicians.
Yeah. So you're lecturing here, and let's talk about some of it. When I was a part of your lecture circuit, it was very heavy in practice management, but I think you're doing actually a lot of other really interesting topics. One in particular that I really liked.
Yeah, two of my newest courses. If I can help anybody with anything, my speaking website is Dr. Mark Speaks, drmarkspeaks.com. You can email me directly from the website. But two of the new courses, one is Cases That Haunt Me, where I basically show every major mistake I made on a patient that I have documented. And I present it, I show why I screwed it up. Now what do you do? Because it used to frustrate me to go to a course and see 28 perfect veneers that the presenter said he did in 2 visits with no adjustment. I'm like, well, crap, I can't do that.
Right.
The answer is neither can they.
No.
They're not being honest with you.
That's right.
So that's a cool course, Cases That Haunt Me, how to rebound, react, and recover from mistakes. And the second course is Questions You Hate, Answers You'll Love. So I sat down one day and wrote every oppositional thing a patient ever said to me. Why did my last dentist tell me about this? You must need a new car. Can we watch it? Let me think about it. Can we get a pre-denial from Aetna? And so I try to guide our students and my attendees on how do you listen carefully and how do you respond. So
I think that's great. And
it's a pleasure.
students in particular, I mean, dentists are guilty of it as well, but they do all this dentistry but don't see the failure. So it's nice to have some lecturing that's sort of completing that circle for folks really early in their career, because it takes a little time to actually start to see your work functioning out in the real world. And then probably 90% of the litigation that's out there is because you couldn't communicate through that failure process, that something didn't go right, because we're all human, and it's biology as well. So some of it can be unpredictable, but to your point, it's how you communicate with patients. It's how you take that journey with them and be there by their side when things are good, but also when things don't go the way you want.
Well, I want to teach them there's no perfection. I want them to shoot for perfection and accept excellence.
Yeah.
If you only try to be excellent and you end up a level below, you're just average. That's not why we wear the Carolina monogram. That's not what we're trying to teach. And for my audiences that I talk to, I would say to anybody, this is not a good time to be in dentistry. This is a great time to be in dentistry. Oh my God, look what we can do for people.
I know, it's amazing.
With the whitening revolution, with implants, with CAD/CAM, with digital printing, with digital radiography. I did a 2-year oral medicine hospital dental residency at UNC. I took out impacted thirds on hemophiliacs with a 2-dimensional black and white Panorex. It was a guess. You didn't know where things were. So the precision that we can treat people with, the way we can digitally image possibilities so they can see what's the probability of what their teeth are going to look like, or how we can predict with clear aligners how they're going to grow and how their teeth are going to move. So what a joyful time to be in dentistry. Yeah, it's complicated. Yes, there's tough times with whatever people's politics are of DSOs and foreign competition and lab work done overseas and litigation and whatever. There's always been difficulty in dentistry, but what we can do for patients now is just world class. And the joy that our young graduates can get when they don't just treat their patient as a provider of a commodity, and they become a doctor in a relationship with somebody when they take the time to get into their life. Jen had lunch. What day is today?
Friday now?
Tuesday I had lunch
sucked down here.
back in the borough in Greensboro, North Carolina, where I live, with my #1 all-time referring patient. Colleen was a secretary at a Catholic church, and I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
And new parishioner would come in and she'd say, "You got to go see my Jewish dentist." They're like, "Aren't there any Catholic dentists?" You go, "Nope. Got to go see my guy." Colleen probably sent me 100 families, and I haven't cared for her in 7 years, and we still are in touch, and we email back and forth and text, and we've had lunch about every 6 months, and it just warms my heart. And it can be a little creepy to be at a restaurant and say, "I need some post-op photos of your smile."
Right. Can you sit still
before you get food in them, click. But that's the joy. One of my closing slides that I show in a lot of my seminars is I started taking selfies when it was announced that I was going to be leaving private practice to go teach at UNC. And I have a picture of about 20 patients of every color and size and shape and faith and sexuality, whatever. And I show it to the audience and say, "What's the common theme here?" And they'll usually say, "Oh, we were all smiling." I'm like, "Yeah, dig deeper."
Yeah.
And the common theme is every patient that I show was a patient of mine for 30 years or more. And that's what I challenge my audience. I say, 30 years from now, I'll be dead. You come see me in the nursing home and show me a picture like that where you made a difference in someone's life and they stayed with you for 15, 20, 25, 30 years. That's the real success. The financial, the money, it's going to come. That's secondary. You got to be able to feed your family. You got to be able to pay your debts. But the richness of dentistry is the relationships, and when you get to be part of people's lives. So that's my hope for your listeners today.
Absolutely.
For the young dental people that I still have the opportunity to influence, for my former students that are crushing it. You just warm my heart, because the truth is Dr. Jen took what I taught her and did the exact opposite. That's why she's so talented.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for your open, vulnerable conversation, and thank you for still teaching, for being a part of where the future of dentistry is going, and not just having sunsetted your career in private practice and storing up all that fantastic information selfishly away from those of us who would really benefit from it. Thank you for your commitment that you're continuing to do.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for joining us.
You.
Take care.